In this exercise, we are going to start with this sketch and we will end up with this illustration. And as you notice, it looks like the word sugar is dissolving in water. Exercise 3, click, check template. And first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna select the rectangle tool. I'm gonna set the fill to none. Stroke, I'm gonna set this to 5 points. Stroke weight, and I'm gonna place the cursor right here and create a rectangle like this. Now with the direct selection tool, I'm gonna click on this point and I'm gonna take it to the right. I'm gonna click on this point and I'm gonna take it to the left. Make sure you stay on the same horizontal line, don't go up or down. Same horizontal line, and place the point here. Now I'm gonna select both of these points and I'm gonna round the corners just like this, and I make sure I match the sketch like this. I'm gonna do the same thing here. Select both of these points and I'm gonna round corners here a little bit like this. Now I'm gonna go back to rectangle tool and I'm gonna draw another rectangle like this. Direct selection tool, same thing, click on this point, move to the right, this point, to the left. Gonna select both of these points and I'm gonna round the corners just like this. Gonna select the pen tool now. Gonna click here, 1 point, click here. I made a straight line. I'm gonna come down here and click another straight line. Gonna put the cursor right here and I'm gonna draw a curve like this, click and drag. I'm gonna press Ctrl to access the direct selection tool. I'm gonna modify the curve by moving the handle like this, and now I'm matching the sketch. With the pen tool, I'm gonna create 1 point here, gonna click and drag like this, continue the curve, create 1 point here, 1 point here, 1 point here, and now I can close, click. Now selection tool, I'm gonna select both of these parts. Now first I'm gonna modify this a little bit with the direct selection tool. Gonna move the handles a little bit. Gonna move this point a little bit like this. Now it matches exactly the sketch. Selection tool, I'm gonna select both of these parts. I'm gonna select shape builder tool, press Alt and delete this part. And now we finished drawing all the lines. I can do the coloring. Gonna start with this part. Gonna set the stroke to none and the fill, I'm gonna choose this color. For the water, this part, no stroke, and fill, I'm gonna choose the same color, but I'm gonna set the opacity to 20%, enter. This part, white with no stroke, and I'm gonna set the opacity to 30%. This part, stroke none, but the fill must be black, so I'm gonna click here, swap fill and stroke, and I'm gonna change the opacity to 10%. Now I'm gonna unsee the template so you can see clearly. Now I just created a shadow here and a light reflected on the glass right here. Gonna bring back the template. I'm gonna hide layer 1 and I'm gonna create a new layer for the text. I go to type tool, one click to create a text. I put the cursor right here, press shift and up arrow until I reach 70 points. I'm gonna select this and I'm gonna write sugar. Gonna change the font to Arial and I'm gonna keep it regular for now, the font style. I'll go to selection tool. I'm gonna place the text right here. I'm gonna press Alt and I'm gonna duplicate like this. I can press shift to remain on the same line like this and let go. Now I'm gonna repeat the same action several times. Control D, Control D, Control D, Control D, Control D. Now I'm gonna select all of these and change the color from black to white. I'm gonna bring back layer 1 and lock it. I don't want to change anything by accident. And I'm gonna hide the template. I no longer need it. I'm gonna click on this text and I'm gonna make it bold. I'm gonna change the font style. I'm gonna add some spacing between the letters. To do that, I go here, click, and I change the value here. Or I can come here and I can change the value from here. It's the same thing. But when I change the spacing, this is not exactly what we need. The S is not moving and this is not what we need. I'm gonna select all of these to solve this problem and I'm gonna change the paragraph from a line left to a line center like this. And I'm gonna put them right here. I'm gonna bring back this. I'm gonna hide the template. This is very important. Now I'm gonna go back to this text and I'm gonna set the spacing to 100. This text I'm gonna set the spacing to 200. This text I'm gonna set the spacing to 400. This text I'm gonna set the spacing to 600. This I'm gonna set it to 800 and this text I'm gonna set the spacing to 1000 like this. Now I'm gonna change the opacity. I'm gonna change the opacity of this selected text to 10%, this 20%, this 30%, this I'm gonna change it to 50%, this I'm gonna change it to 70%, and this I'm gonna change it to 90%. Now the exercise is finished. You go do the same and don't forget to save.